Let's get real. Welcome to TBC Today. This podcast features friends in and around the Triad Baptist Church community. Hear encouraging real-life stories from our weekly guests and inspiring insights from our host, Pastor Rob. To learn more about Triad Baptist Church in Kernersville, North Carolina, visit us online at tbcnow.org.
Welcome to this episode of TBC Today. My name is Jeremy Chandler. I'm the Creative Communications Director. I've got Pastor Rob here, our lead pastor at Triad Baptist, and our host. We're going to turn it over to him in just a minute, but I want to introduce our guest today. Our guest is Matt Young. Now, Matt's been at Triad for about 5 years, and he's currently in our First Step class, which is a membership class. And so we're excited to have him here. And Matt is, in our community, owns his own lawn business and does a great job with that. So we want to hear his story today, and we're going to let Pastor Rob flip our timer.
The sands of time have begun. So we'll cut off about the time that goes out there, Matt.
Sounds good.
So hey, Matt, thanks for coming today. I really appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
One of the reasons I invited you was we had lunch not too long ago, and you said, hey, I want to tell you my story.
Yeah. And
I want to see where God could use my story. And so I thought, I get that a lot. I have a lot of people call me. A lot of people want to do that. And so I thought, okay, sure. I didn't really know you that well. I knew you'd been coming here. But anyways, we went out and you started telling me the story. And I was like, this can't be possible. This could not have really happened. But anyways, it immediately hit me. I'm going to do an interview with you. And I'd like to put that out there to the general public, our community, our church. It's just amazing how God's grace and mercy has been on your life. And so I think it'd be good for people to understand what happened. So you were probably how old when you had that accident?
I was 24.
Okay, 24 years of age. How old are you today?
Today I'm 32.
32?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know that accident's affected some of your speech, but you do a pretty good job with everything because it's a maze. But anyways, take us back to when you were 24. And tell us a little bit about that day and set it up for us.
Okay, well, it was July 4th, 2014, and I was a fireman, a full-time fireman at Summerfield Fire, and we were at a friend's house to get ready to go to another friend's house to have the July 4th fireworks and stuff like that at Blues Lake, and we just were hanging out and having fun and having a good July 4th with everybody, and then the later time got, the more we started to get ready to go to that house, and then what happened was I actually drove my 4-wheeler over to the people's house that we were going to, and to see if they were ready for us to come over, because there was probably 10 of us at the house we were at before we went there, so I just wanted to see before we went. And then on my way back, it's about a mile away, and on my way back, the house was in a gated community, but there was a car going through the gate, so I wouldn't have to wait to go through the gate to leave if I went faster. Well, I did that, but then on the camera on the gates showed a deer right out in front of me. I tried to sort of miss it, and I flipped the 4-wheeler, but I wasn't wearing a helmet because I was so close, and the rest is, I don't know much about it.
So you totally forgot. I mean, it's like that's all lost in your memory.
Yep.
You only knew because of the cameras.
It's the only reason we knew. Yep.
So you're actually laying on it's like a gravel road?
It's a paved road.
It's a paved road.
Yep.
So you're down at Blues Creek, you're laying on a paved road, and you're totally out of it.
Yep. Totally out of it. And they called 911, and they were gonna fly me into Wake Forest Baptist, but the helicopter was already out and they were too far away, so the ambulance came and got me and took me to the hospital.
I see.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about, you're in the hospital, what's happened to you?
Yep. Well, when I went in there, I was hurt really bad and ended up being in a coma for a month and a half. Wow. And during that time, my body was going in and out CPR multiple times, and I was just, barely there, and my brain actually started to swell, and so they had to cut my skull and let the brain swell up instead of it, exploding or whatever in my skull.
Did they fully expect you to die? Like, were they?
They were pretty sure.
And
Yep.
so your mom and dad and everybody were there?
Yep. Mom,
you had a girlfriend?
Dad, my girlfriend Hillary. Yep. We were together for 2 years before this accident happened, and
so what else happened to you? You had to have the skull release the pressure.
Had the skull removed, and all of the doctors, even in the hospital, were thinking that I was gonna have to have my skull removed for who knows how long, months at least. But luckily, somehow, because of God, my brain started to get smaller again, and they were able to put my skull back on within a couple of days.
It's unbelievable.
It is.
What else happened to you besides just your brain going into severe swelling?
Yeah, my after the brain was swollen, I was still in a coma for about 3 weeks after that, and I didn't know anything. I can't remember anything. My wife now and my mom and dad were telling me that I was not verbal, but if they would say something or try and touch me, I would, I would understand or know that they were doing something to me, and I would move a little bit instead of just being still the whole time. So
that kind of gave them hope?
Yes, it did. They were, every time that I would even move at all, if they just tried to touch me or whatever, they knew that there was something there still.
But you were still kind of in a coma.
Yeah, I was in a coma. I don't remember anything. I don't remember even after I got out of the hospital. I don't remember anything for a couple of months.
So what do they have to do now? So your brain starts to go down in swelling. Did you come back then? Or
yeah, it started to come down, and then I was in a coma for a couple more weeks, and then the next thing I know, I was back. My parents said one morning I woke up and was hungry, wanted something to eat.
Wow.
So
did you immediately remember? When you woke up, did you remember who everyone was, or
nope.
did it take you a while?
Yeah, it took me a long time. This injury, I couldn't remember anything before. I played baseball, I wrestled, and played football my whole life, and I couldn't remember anything at all.
Wow.
I couldn't remember my mom, my dad, my wife now. I couldn't remember them, but they all stuck in there with me and, tried to teach me again. And the more I learned, the more I finally realized, oh yeah, it took my brain a long time to realize, but luckily it started. It's still not where it was, but it's better.
It's come back.
Yeah, comebacks up. Yeah.
And I know you had some facial surgery. What other things did they have to do?
They did on this side, on the right side of my mouth, it wouldn't smile at all. So they wanted to get some cells from my legs and from the other side and transfer them over and see if they give me a smile. That's why this is a little swollen still, because they took a little too much down here to put up here. But I said, better to try than not.
Right.
Yeah.
I know some of the doctors were disappointed that it didn't work and stuff, but I said, don't be disappointed. I said, you tried, we tried, and it didn't work. That's not your fault. That's my body just didn't agree. Taking something from down here and putting it up here, your body may not, want to do that. So.
Well, you seem like you had a pretty good attitude about that, but did you also struggle with some of the feelings of like not wanting to live or anything like that?
Yes, when I got out of the hospital, when I was coming back to it, it took me quite a few months to really come back to it. And in that period of time, I didn't want my girlfriend then to even be with me. Or I wanted her to, but I didn't want her to have to struggle and suffer.
Almost pity you.
Yeah,
or-
yeah, yeah.
And so you didn't want her pity. So you just said, "Get out of my life."
Yep, I said, you know what, you can go. And I know that there for a while, I was probably a couple months, I was a little depressed or really depressed about what had happened, and was the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I wanted to just be gone. After my injury and having to being so down on everything and losing my job and stuff, I said, you know what, but I just God kept helped me out, and He said, "Don't do that." I would talk to Him in my when I prayed at night and stuff, and He just kept me through it, and we're here today.
So were y'all engaged at the time of the accident? Or
No,
just
we were
dating?
just dating.
Okay.
That's what really surprised me is we have been dating for 2 years, and it started in 2012, and then this accident happened, and even my doctor, it's Monar. He is in California now, actually, but he said he's retired now, but he can count on two hands the amount of people that could even walk again
Wow.
after the injury I was in.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And so you tell your girlfriend, "Hey, just go on with your life. You don't have to stay committed to me." What does she say?
She said no. I stopped saying that, and she would get upset with me for saying that because she was there 100% for me and didn't want to hear anything other than me asking her questions and what to do. And if I wouldn't get up off the couch every day, she'd be like, "You better get up." Gotta walk, gotta look at stuff in the nature and around town and get your mind right.
She was your coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she really became a coach. And how soon after that did you said you guys got married?
Yep. Yeah, we got engaged, and then actually,
how much after the accident did you get engaged?
after the accident, it was 2 years after the accident when I asked her to marry me. But it was really fun, but really cool because we were at an Atlanta Braves game because her parents or her aunt and uncle live in Atlanta. So we went down there. I tried really hard to hide the ring on the trip down, and she and then that morning of the game we went on a walk. I said, "Honey, let's go on a walk all around, and just we're on vacation. Let's see what's around." And so there was actually a lake right next to their house that we were staying at, and she walked really fast, and she always has to wait on me sometimes. Now that I'm try and walk really straight instead of fast and all over the place, and she was ahead of me, and I said, "Oh, hang on 1 second. My back hurts a little bit." And then when I said, "Hey," and she turned around, and I was down on one knee and asked her, and she busted out crying. And at first, while she was busting out crying, I said, "Oh no, is she gonna cry that I'm asking her?"
That's great.
That's incredible. I mean, I don't know if I've personally met your wife, but I want to meet her.
Yeah.
Because to stand by you like that
Yep.
and to just say, "I'm going to love you no matter what,"
Yep.
that truly is like an unconditional love.
It is.
And it's incredible to just hear that and be touched by that. What does she do now, by the way?
She's a nurse at Wake Forest Baptist Health. It's actually the OBGYN clinic in Clemens.
Right.
It's more Winston, but it's Clemens. And she's a nurse over there.
Okay.
Yep.
Now tell us a little bit about you in the recovery side of, okay, so you get out of the hospital, and then what happens? You couldn't go back to be a fireman, right?
Right. I couldn't go back. I would go to the station every weekend. My dad would actually drive me there because I was not able to drive yet. And he would drive me there, and I would hang out with the
Guys.
guys and look at the trucks and try and remember equipment and what to do, but I couldn't. Every week I would wonder. I said, "Where's this at again?" I couldn't remember everything, and but we're still friends. But um, it was just really hard to um go get tested again. Have to do my physical. I just couldn't pass it, and that's why I couldn't be a fireman anymore.
So at that point, did that just crush you? What was that like?
Yeah, that was it crushed me because always the first thing I can remember after getting out of the hospital is wanting to go back to be my life being like kind of like
was before.
Yeah, exactly like it was before. It said, "Oh, this accident happened, but we'll go back to everything being the same." And it's not gonna. But if you stick in there with it, and yes, stuff has to change, but it's all good. It's all for the good, and you know.
You took it from the Lord in a sense. You said, "Okay, Lord, this stinks, but I'm going to take it, and I'm going to still do something with my life for your honor."
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's good. That's good. And so, what did you end up doing to make a living?
What I did was, Johnny actually was, he mowed on the side. He's retired now and he does it full time, but he was mowing on the side on a Saturday. So I started helping him, and all I did was weed eat and just to kind of get my mind off of what had all gone on and just get back to doing something. Weed eating. You aren't thinking about anything but make sure you're not going like this all over the place. and so that's what I did, and that kind of got me into wanting to become in landscaping.
Yeah.
So that worked into that.
Yep, exactly. That's
And then
how
you went out on your own?
Yep, and I worked for him for 2 years, and then I went out on my own 3 years ago.
Wow. And so you've
Yep.
been doing it ever since?
Yep.
Hey, well, listen, is there anything you want to say to us? Anything you want to add in there? Because I want to go on to another story that kind of helps that story, but
I don't think so.
okay. Okay, very good. Well, okay, so a few years after you recover, you're in landscaping, you're actually coming down 50 or 40, Interstate 40, right?
Yep.
And cutting off at Silas Creek there?
Yep.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that. What happened there?
It was what happened was I was working out at the gym right near Haynes Mall, and I knew the owner of the gym, so I was going there for working out with him and a couple of friends, and unfortunately, I took a supplement to try and help build muscle faster. Well, I took it about 15 minutes before I left to go work out, because it was taking about 30 to 45 minutes before we work out. So I said that's about the right time, and I was going down 40, and I was going where 74 and 40 meet. We were on 40, and it was actually a state trooper behind me. But we saw coming on 74 onto 40, those multiple tractor trailers coming. So we both got over in the left lane so they could get over. And that's the last thing I can remember. And I know that I went down an embankment and jumped over the on ramp to 40 from
In your truck?
Yeah, in my truck to the exit before 52. It was Robin. I can't remember the name, but I jumped that whole intersection, or the whole on ramp. Went down, hit a tree, was pinned in my truck.
Flipped over,
pinned in, upside down, and the only reason I truly think that I'm alive today is because the state trooper was behind me, and when I passed out, I was in the left lane, and I slowly veered to the left, hit the wall, and then slowly just kept going. But what happened was, the reason I kept going is because I had the cruise control on at 65, because I knew he was back there. I didn't want to mess up, not looking, and go and get the ticket. Get my wife complaining at me. She, I can't believe that. But that's why I kept going. But luckily for other drivers, I didn't come over and mess them up at all. Like I say, braked or whatever. It just slowly went over, went down, and jumped the on ramp, and I flipped over. I was pinned in, and luckily I know a couple of guys who work at Winston Fire, and they were there actually, and they cut me out because I was pinned in my truck, and I was out, but they did not have to do CPR. But then luckily, the first accident I was in a coma for about a month and a half. This one is only a couple hours, so a little bit better.
So much better.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then and then I was only in the hospital for 3 days for that. So
Okay.
yep.
And so you recovered from that.
Yeah, recovered from that. That I had in my let's see, it was my L3, I think, of the lower back was I cracked it, but I didn't crack it all the way. But the doctors were thinking that, the L3 is probably gonna require surgery, which would make me not even be able to walk for a couple months after I had the surgery. So I had to wear a solid brace whenever I was doing anything. And I think I was like 3 or 4 months, and then I went back to the doctor, and he was absolutely amazed at how the L3 had not moved at all. It was healing and everything, and me being me, I said, "Well, he is so happy that my back is doing great. It's gonna be okay." I stopped wearing the brace and started moving more, and then about a week later, I could barely move. I was screaming and crying, and me and my wife and my dad went to the hospital, and we went to the emergency room, where if I don't know what you call it, where you have to go if you have a injury, but not the ambulance takes you or anything, and you have to wait for hours. As long as you're not pretty much dying, you have to wait, and we had to wait in there. It was like 2:00 in the morning. Winston, it's not a good place to be
At 2:00 in the
morning. Some people do some weird things and then act really bad. But then that happened, and then the doctor said, "Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm 95% sure you're gonna have to have the surgery. We're not gonna do it yet, but you're probably gonna have to." So with him saying that, I said, "My fault." He's happy, and then now I overreacted and didn't do anything. But luckily, a couple months later after that, he was surprised again. But this time, instead of me saying, "Okay, I'm good," I said, "Okay, he's happy, but I'm not doing anything still." And
Play it safe.
Yep, and it healed up and didn't have to have surgery.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to run out of time here pretty soon, but let me ask you, I just would like to one of the things is you want to tell your story. So like, let's say you were speaking to teenagers or college kids. What would you want to tell them after they heard your story?
I would really like to tell them that I know that things may be bad at certain times in life and just upset you or make you sad or different things, but if you will just stick with it, and the good will definitely come back as long as you pray and accept God and know that He is there for us. He's not there for anybody but us, and He will accept anything you do, even if it's negative. If you pray and apologize and say I'm sorry, He will understand that, and you'll get forgiven for anything you do. And that right there is, I can personally tell anybody that it's true, and I know that if you'll stick in with it, it'll pass.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Praise the Lord. That's one thing I was thinking for you too. Is I know you'd like to start doing these ministries to hospitals or people who've had serious injuries, don't want to live or don't want to stay around, and you want to be an encourager. You want to try to encourage people. It's one thing I noticed about you. You've kept maybe a few times when you first had that accident, but you really have kept a good attitude even with the things you wrestle with today and struggle with.
Yeah.
And you just push through it.
Yeah.
And so it's such an example, and I think the Lord can certainly use that. And so thank you so much for being here today. And is there anything you want to say to us in closing, or does that feel like you've covered it all?
I think so. Yeah, just stick with it and trust in the Lord and pray, and He will forgive you for anything you've done. And
it seems like you just feel really confident that God can put you through a lot of pain and use that story to encourage and bless other people. So that's encouraging to me.
It is.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, because I know I've heard stories of people that have passed away because of certain things that weren't anywhere near my
severity.
This severity. Yeah, and I just know that I honestly believe that I'm still here because of family and friends praying every single day that I would come out of this and be okay. And I truly 100% think that this is why.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Awesome. Well, it was great having Matt here. Did you have any closing
No, I think
remarks?
That's great.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, I appreciate you so much telling your story, and we want to try to help you get it out there.
Yes, sir.
Because I believe the Lord will use it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening to this episode. I want to give just a quick shout out to Austin Joyce, our producer, and Kayla Schuller, who's been helping us put all of our questions and getting these episodes put together. We're so grateful for them. If you'd like to learn more about our ministry here at Triad Baptist, visit us online at tbcnow.org or check out our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitters. Have a great week.
Thanks for joining us this week on TBC Today. We want to connect with you, so make sure to visit our website, tbcnow.org, and subscribe, rate, and review the show in iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend, and be on the lookout for our next conversation.